Hola clase, ¿cómo están? ¿Bien? Pues hoy es el 27 de mayo. We are almost there, guys. So just a couple of reminders that June 5th is the absolute last day to turn in any outstanding work that you have. Outstanding, I mean not just great quality, but work that you are late because that weekend I have to put in all of the grades. Now, some of you have noticed that some of your grades are still blank, or maybe there is a zero there. That doesn't mean that it's going to stay like that permanently. It just means that at that point when I put the grade, you had not accomplished that task yet. So over the next few days, I will be updating all of your grades. Okay, so last week we talked about present perfect, and I think it went pretty smooth. It was not very difficult since we had already seen the past participle as an adjective, like comprado, vivido, la ventana está abierta. And then I did a couple of videos and I explained you guys how to use the past participle with the present form of the verb haber to create the expression I have studied, or she has bought. Yo he estudiado. Ella ha comprado. And we talked about how when you create the present perfect, you don't have to worry about making masculine or feminine or singular or plural as far as the past participle part, because you're using that as a verb, not as an adjective. So we still have one last trick up our sleeves, maybe two, depending how fast we move over the next couple of days, but I definitely want to touch bases with you guys about the future tense, because the future is actually probably one of the easiest conjugations in Spanish. In fact, it's even easier than the present tense. And that is because you're going to see that the conjugation of the future tense only uses one verb ending, regardless whether it is an AR verb, ER verb, or IR verb. So let's see some of the tenses we've seen so far, and different ways that we can express the idea of future. So I can say something like, I'm going to the movies tomorrow. Voy al cine mañana. So even though technically voy is I go, you can use more or less, depending on if it's talking about a near future, to express something that is about to happen. The other one is ir a plus infinitive. It's when you're going to do something. So rather than saying I'm going to the theater tomorrow, I can say I'm going to go to the movie theater tomorrow, or I'm going to study 2 hours tomorrow. Voy a ir al cine. Now, we also used the expression ojalá, remember, which means I hope or I wish, to express the ideal future. If you want to say something like, I hope to go to the movie theater tomorrow, or I hope I will go to the movie theater tomorrow. You see, both express the same idea, but they are conjugated actually the same way with present subjunctive, because after ojalá we always use present subjunctive or past subjunctive or some kind of subjunctive, right? So ojalá vaya al cine mañana. No, I hope to go. I hope I will go. And now you're going to see for the first time, some of you, the real future tense, so which is, like in English, I will go. And in this case, in Spanish, is iré. So let's take a look. I'm going to move my video here out of the way. Okay, so now the future, real future, is the equivalent in English of I will or I shall. Okay, for all of you with the British flair. So let's say I want to say I will study. Estudiaré. I will learn. Aprenderé. I will receive. Recibiré. Now, you notice two very important things. Number one, how easy is it that you don't even have to eliminate the last two letters? All you have to do is plug in the ending at the very end of the verb. And second of all, and most importantly, that the verb ending is the same whether it is an AR verb, ER verb, or IR verb. So that's a piece of cake, right? So let's take a look. Estudiaré, estudiarás, estudiará, estudiaremos, estudiaréis, estudiarán. So, like anything else, you have to remember the verb conjugations. Most of the time, we talk about ourselves, or third person singular, or second person two, right? So I'm not going to say that those are the most important, but that's probably the most used. E, as, a. Now, one observation, well, two. All of them received an accent mark, except the nosotros form, okay? So you have to put emphasis at the end. I know sometimes I hammer you by saying, guys, stop putting the emphasis at the end, because sometimes you want to try to make sure that you know the ending and you make a strong emphasis at the end, and sometimes it makes it sound wrong. But in this case, well, this is what you have to do. So emphasis at the end except for the nosotros. So the accent is the emphasis. Estudiaré, aprenderé, recibirá, and so forth. Okay? All right. So how easy is that, right? Now let's continue. So let's say let's look at the endings here, and you want to say I will eat at a restaurant next month. Can you guess? Well, the verb is comer, so yo comeré en un restaurante el próximo mes. Okay? How would you say we will need to return our books? Well, to need is necesitar, so we will need, necesitaremos devolver or entregar nuestros libros. How would you say, will you write to your teacher? Well, the verb is escribir, and conjugating the to form is escribirás a tu profesor. Easy, right? Okay. Last one. Let's do a he or she or you formal. Okay. How would you say, she will arrive early to the party? Ella, well, to arrive is llegar. So conjugating, ella llegará temprano para la fiesta. Pretty straightforward, right? Okay, so this is just a reminder that with the nosotros form, there is no accent mark, right? And let's move on here. Okay, Spanish wouldn't be Spanish if we didn't have any regular forms, right? Now, lucky for you, there aren't many. There are some that derived from these, but for the most part, these are the irregular forms that you need to worry about. Thousands of verbs. All you have to do in order to conjugate is add the ending, right? Comeré, viviré, aprenderé, recibiré, estudiaré, beberé, and so forth. But there are some that are irregular. Now, there's no cool mnemonic to memorize this, so my suggestion is memorize or try to learn the yo form. Now, next year in Spanish 4, we will go back to this and we'll have more practice. But time is of an essence now, so if you don't memorize now, that's fine. We will revisit in Spanish 4, but you can use this as a guide. So let's see. Decir, diré. Hacer, haré. Poder, podré. Poner, pondré. Querer, querré. Notice the difference? One R, two R's. Saber, sabré. Salir, saldré. Tener, tendré. Venir, vendré. All right. So, how about we try some practice here? How would you say, I will set the table tonight? Yo pondré la mesa. I will tell the truth. Yo diré la verdad. And you can pause the video. Hacer. I will make the bed. Yo haré la cama. I will want to sleep early tonight. Yo querré dormir temprano esta noche. I will leave early at 7. Yo saldré temprano a las 7. I will come at 8 to school. Yo vendré a las 8 a la escuela. In the future, I will have a mansion. En el futuro, yo tendré una mansión. I will know Calculus 2 in college. Yo sabré Cálculo 2 en la universidad. And so forth. So, a little bit irregular, right? But luckily for you, this is pretty much it. Now, obviously, there are some verbs that derive from that, like, for example, poner. There's a verb to compose, which is componer. So, if I were to conjugate componer, that would be con. Poner would be what? Poner is pondré. Compondré. Okay? Same of other verbs, like to detain is detener. To retain is retener. So you would put the prefix and then conjugate. But don't worry too much about that. All right. So we're almost finishing up here. Let's see. This is just another chart, okay, for you to take a look. Now, all this information is on your textbook. We skipped quite a few lessons and we are on chapter 7, page 238 and 239. Okay. Now, there's one irregular verb there that we have not mentioned in that chart, which is the verb haber, meaning there is, there are, is the verb to be. And that meaning there is, there are, only exists in the third person singular. Remember, there is a student in class, there are 5 students in class. Hay un estudiante, hay 5 estudiantes. If I say there was, I could say había or hubo for the preterite. So in the future, it is habrá, and it's never habrán. It's just habrá. So if I want to say, there will be cake at the party. Habrá pastel en la fiesta. Right? Okay, so that covers most of what I want to tell you about the future tense. So I want you to read the information again on page 238 and 239 and work on the exercises that I have assigned. Any questions? Shoot me an email or contact me. Okay? Adios.